Con.
Good. You good? Con. Yeah, it's live. Yeah. I mean, if somebody got a camera that got the password, they can hop in there. It's our channel. Nah. What we can do is we can upload it later if you want to do that. Or somebody can just go live if they got it. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
All the mighty brothers came out, man, at the water, man.
Con.
This is beautiful right here, man.
How brothers feeling?
Mighty.
How brothers feeling? Con. All praises to the Most High.
That's right.
We're going to kick off the lesson, as you can see over there on the whiteboard. All right. Well, first and foremost, welcome to the WFIdetroit, the House of Understanding.
Con, brother.
Right.
Gotta clap it up.
Come Miss Roller.
Con.
So as you can see, the lesson we'll be going into today is building a church. All right. So again, before we start, let's give another all praise and double honors due to Yahweh Shemel Washai. All praises and double honors due to Yahweh Shemel Washai. Brother, you can bring out Psalms 133 and 1. Again, that's Psalms chapter 133, verse 1.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1. And it reads, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity."
Yeah. You see that?
Talking
This
to
is
Mike,
a beautiful, beautiful, mighty thing in the name of Yahweh Shemel Washai that we all come together in unity, right? This is a rare thing in Israel. Right now, we could be doing anything with our day, right? We could have spent the last 7 months or whatever building up a trap house, right? Calling it the house of wickedness. We could be doing anything with our day, right? But the Most High put in our spirit to come together in unity, right, and build up a school of understanding that Israel may learn, whether they be from Detroit or far off, wherever. We don't really give a damn, right? You got it.
Con, brother. Trying to give me Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Right? This is a beautiful thing in the sight of the Lord. Seeing brothers come together in unity. Right? Not gathered together in wickedness like Jake doing in the world. Gang banging, GDs, BDs, Bloods, and Crips. No, we coming back to our nationality, which are the Hebrew Israelites. But bring this out, King.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
What the Lord say?
Gather yourselves together.
So right now we gathering ourselves together. Read on.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
And we the nation that's not desired. Every nation on this planet Earth hates the Israelites. It tell you that in Psalms the 83rd chapter. Right? They set up crafty councils, different schemes and agendas to overthrow our people. Read on.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahweh come upon you.
Right, and the fierce anger of the Lord is coming upon this earth. You see what's going on in Europe, China, South Africa. All hell was breaking loose over this world, man. So we got to seek the Lord while he may be found and gather together in righteousness. Read on.
Before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you, seek ye Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger.
Right, and we seeking to be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, man. That's why we keeping these commandments. That's why we gathering together our faith, right, and coming together in unity, man. Right, so all praises to Yahweh Shemel Washai, man.
I got a quick preset. Let me get Romans 12 and 10. Right, just to add there on too, man. Like, this is a beautiful thing, man. Right. It's a beautiful thing to see all these brothers coming out from all over the country, man, right, all over this wicked nation to come into one place to get some understanding, man, to dwell together in unity. Bring that out.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another.
Right, and that's the law. Like the brother, we brought out the 10 Commandments, man. You got to love your neighbor, right, Rick?
with brotherly love.
What?
With brotherly love.
With brotherly love, man. And this is brotherly love right here. Let that brotherly love continue, man. Right, read?
In honor, preferring one another.
So we have to prefer one another in this thing, man. I love all y'all brothers, man. And the Akwaf and the children. I love everybody that's the nation of Israel, man. This is beautiful, man. It's kind of like an overwhelming feeling seeing all these brothers coming out for us, man. It's beautiful, man. So the water for that, man. Love y'all brothers, man.
God.
That's right.
You can bring out Psalms 119 and 22. Right now, Israel got to remember, we're not the first people to do this, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Before you get that, you can get Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, right? There's nothing new under the sun, right? We're moving in the same spirit as our forefathers, or at least we're trying to, right? Through the power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? We have the blueprint on how to do these things, which is all recorded in the scriptures. You got it.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, it is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
See, there's no new thing under the sun, right? Meaning in times past, you had houses of understanding, you had churches, right? You read about it in Revelation, all throughout the Gospels, right? We had a church to teach the young and the women and men and children, right? Now you can go to, it was Psalms 118 and 22.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 118 and verse 22. The stone which the builders refused is become the headstone of the corner.
Does anybody know who that headstone is? That
Yahweh
cornerstone? Right, it's Yahweh Shai, right? He's the chief cornerstone. So none of this would be possible, if he had not been a chief cornerstone.
Gone.
All right? Go ahead.
This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes.
It's marvelous. It's beautiful, right? Again, none of these things would be possible, if Yahweh Shai didn't do what he did. Go ahead.
This is the day which the Lord have made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
And guess what? We rejoicing. This is a beautiful thing, right? We love seeing the brothers in unity. We can't stress that enough. We're going to keep saying it, right? We're going to sound like a broken record because we're not used to this, right? In the world, we used to being wicked and doing, Negro stuff. But when we come together, right, we see brothers smile. We see brothers with fringes on. We see brothers turning their lives around.
And Salakia, whenever Jake come together in the world, it's a fight. Somebody end up getting shot, right? All hell break loose, man. But the fact that we could come together and there's no fights, there's no bickering, there's no strife, no contention, that's a beautiful thing, man. That's the doings of the Lord, right?
That's right. You can go ahead.
I wanted to get this precept. Get 1 Peter 2 and 9. 1 Peter 2 and verse 9.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a
start at verse 4.
Verse 4.
All right.
To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High and precious.
Right, that's going into Yahweh Shah. That's a perfect link up with that precept the brothers brought out, right?
Ye also as lively stones.
What did he say?
Ye also as lively stones.
Right, so when it's going into building the church, it's not always physical, right? Because, in fact, let me get this quick precept. Right, real quick, the book of Job, chapter 11, and verse 6. Right, it says, and he that would shew thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exalted of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So everything is double according to the scriptures, right? So it's a physical, actual church, right? But we're the church, right? Because that's why he called us the lively stones, and Yahweh Shah is that chief cornerstone, right? Keep reading on that.
Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house.
Are built up a spiritual house, right?
In holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices.
Right, that's the order of Melchizedek that we're under, man. This is a sacrifice that we're not actually, kind of cutting up a lamb or anything like that, but this is our spiritual sacrifice that we land upon the altar of the Lord, man. Right, doing his work, laboring, man. Our prayers, our contrite spirit, those are all the sacrifices of Melchizedek's priesthood. Right, so that's pretty much it on that. You can get it more on that?
Yeah, it was more.
All right, keep reading.
acceptable to the Most High by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
You see that? So yeah, that's it on that.
You get it, Ecclesiastes 3 and 5.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 5. A time to cast away stones,
Right.
and a time to gather stones together.
Right now, we're in the time of gathering stones. Right. That's where we go out there on the highways and byways, pulling the fish, pulling the lively stones. Again, all of this done in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You can go to Hosea 6 and 1.
It's like I had a precept on that. Well, I'll just bring it out. Right, in the book of Sirach, chapter 22 and 1, because it's a time to cast stones away and gather stones. It says, a slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and every one will hiss him out of out to his disgrace. So a man can be compared to an actual filthy stone in this thing, man. All right, you see that? So continue on.
That's right. And the Lord not dealing with filthy stones. The Lord has no need for a filthy stone. All right. Now, it's not talking about your garment is dirty, you got mustard stains and, honey bun stains and Kool-Aid stains. It's talking about, like, your mind, right? The Lord don't have time for a filthy stone, a wicked Israelite that's thinking lewd thoughts all the time and, moving in a way that's not righteous. You got it.
Hosea 6 and 1.
God.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 6 and verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Most High,
Right.
For he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up.
Right.
After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up,
Right.
and we shall live in his sight.
So the blocks, these lively stones are slowly but surely coming together, right? Fitting chiefly beautifully together. This building that's getting built right now is not done yet. If it was, we'd be in the kingdom. So the Lord's still putting together these lively stones, right? And it all fits perfectly. Right, the Lord's not going to put in a stone and one stone don't fit and you got to force it in. All these stones are going to fit in perfectly, right? In other words, Israel, he know how to build us up, right?
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 3 and verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. And that's talking about us, man, because we lost our nationality. Right? We didn't know who we were. We didn't know the requirements that the Lord required of us. Right? We thought we was just niggas, spicks, right? Gangsters in the hood. Right? So we abode many days without an image. Verse 5. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. And that's what's happening right now. Right? The Lord is putting the spirit of wisdom back on the nation of Israel, and we return it back unto our God. Right. Brothers is raising up mighty men, priests, kings unto the Lord, as it states in Exodus chapter 19 and verse 6. Right? We was niggas, man. We was committing adultery, right? Sleeping woman and woman, right? Doing all kind of abominable things, man. But the Lord raised us back up. And that's wisdom, right? Gave us the spirit of wisdom. He put this oil back on the nation. You got it.
And I want to mention another point on a filthy stone. You can get it Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31, right? Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 31. And it reads, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
So if you have any of those attributes, right, you're a filthy stone, right? If you Proverbs 6 and 16 on down, you're a filthy stone, right? That goes into a list of the things that the Lord hates, right? If you fit one of those things, you're a filthy stone, and the Lord's not, going to put you properly with the rest of the building. All right, he's going to, take you out and pluck you out, right? And even in the ancient world, right, when you had a house and a house was plagued with something, they poured out the bricks and they cast it without. So that's what the Lord's going to do with these filthy stones. He's going to cast you without, and you're not going to be in the kingdom.
I got a precept. Get up 1 Corinthians 3 and start at 12. 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 12.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 12.
Right.
Now, if any man build upon this foundation.
Right, and the foundation, matter of fact, start at 11. Because, again, the foundation is Yahweh Shah. Start at 11.
Verse 11.
Right.
For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid.
Right, because nobody compares to Yahweh Shai. He's the Son of God, man. Right, read.
Which is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach.
Right, that's the foundation, right, read.
Now, if any man build upon this foundation,
you build upon the foundation of the most, or Slakia of Christ, right?
Gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, and stubble.
Right, so you can build silver, gold, wood, hay, stubble. Right, it's up to you what you go put in, man. You go put in a cracked brick, man. You go be a filthy stone, or you go put in some gold on the temple. Hey, Solomon temple was all gold, man. Right? So you can't put hay in that's go burn down easily, man. Right? And that's what you are when you're a filthy stone. You're putting hay into the Lord's building, right, Reed?
Every man's work shall be made manifest.
Right, your work is going to be made manifest, right? That's how you know what you're building upon the temple, right, Reed?
For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire.
By fire, man. And you can't just melt, gold with this, man. You could probably start a fire with hay with this, man. Right, Reed?
And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
Right, Reed?
If any man's work abide which he have built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
Right, you see that? So you're going to be rewarded for the work that you put into the temple, man. So if you want to, kind of put stubble, it literally says stubble. That's nothing. You just put nothing in the temple, man. You ain't doing no work. You just being a keyboard light, a couch potato-ite, right, scoffing camps all damn day. Hey, man, you ain't going to make it, man. You putting hate in the damn building, right?
Appreciate much on that. Khan, Salakia. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6, King. Baba Kashah. Right, the brother bringing out some good points, man. You get what you put in, man. Right? So you got to put in those bricks, man. You got to build upon Yahweh Shai's foundation. Right? By going out there, laboring on the highways and byways, making your body a living sacrifice, getting your household in order, keeping the commandments, being genuine in the sight of the Lord. Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
Go to the ant, thou sluggard.
Right? When you building up a house or when you building anything, you can't be lazy and slothful. Right? So you got to go to the ant, thou sluggard. Right? Ants are one of the hardest working insects that the Lord has created. Read on.
Consider her ways and be wise.
And you got to be wise in this thing. What's being wise? Building up your house in righteousness. Right? Keeping the commandments. Putting away the pork, the crab, the shrimp.
That's right.
Putting away the malice and the guile and the hatred that you got towards your brother. Right? Coming out of the damn festivities of the white man. Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving. That's wise when you walk in the commandments of the Lord. Read on.
Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest.
Right? So brothers not going to be standing over you telling you, hey, brother, come out to the highways and byways, brother. Come do the work. Brothers can't do that all the time, man. You got to walk independent in this thing, in righteousness. Right? You got to be willfully going out there on them highways and byways because you want to do it. You want to build up your nation. Right? You want to edify the body of Israel. Read on.
How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?
That's pretty much it on that. How long would you sleep, man? Right? How long would you just lodge on the couch, not doing the work of the Lord? Like the brother said, being a keyboard warrior. Man, you got to get up and put in work, man. Right? Help build up this spiritual temple. Right? You got it.
That's right. You can get Job chapter 12, verse 7. Job chapter 12, verse 7. Right? Now, the brother brought out in Proverbs 6 chapter, hey, go to the ant, thou sluggard, right? And consider her ways. You bring it out.
This is the book of Job, chapter 12, and verse 7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall teach thee.
Right. Now, when you go out into nature and you observe animals, you shouldn't be looking at them just to look at them and kind of watch them eat. You have to really critique them and analyze them, right? Understand their behavior, right? Even the nations do that to an extent, right? You have something called biomimicry, right? Where Esau, the way that they create these certain machines and types of instruments or tools of, building, they watch these animals. They understand how they move and how they operate, right? So how much more us being in this truth, right? You can learn a hell of a lot by understanding it and seeing how these animals move. For the example, you see the ant, right? And Jeremiah tells us about the leopard, never changes spots, right? Loosely paraphrasing. Now you can go to Sirach 35 and 4, Bible Shar. One more. Sirach 35 and 4. Now, when you consider the ant and watch how it move, does it come back to the base with nothing in his hand? No, it's going to come back with something. Right. You know, if it come back empty, best believe that ant's going to get frowned upon, right? They might mark that ant. You got it.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 35 and verse 4. Thou shalt not appear empty before the Lord.
See that? So we have to do work. We have to do our due diligence and bring something back to the Lord, right? The wisdom that he bestowed and gave it to us is not ours, right? Like it says in Songs of Solomon, we got to give it back to him, right? We can't come empty before the Lord. Likewise, the ant can't come empty before the base and their queen. You got it.
I got a precept. Get us Sirach 7 and 31. Book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 31.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 31.
Right.
Fear Yahweh and honor the priest.
Right, honor the priest. And again, we're under the priesthood of Mount Chezedek. Right, right?
And give him his portion.
Right, give him his portion. Now, do we offer sacrifices, actual physical sacrifices? No. Right, we got to offer those spiritual sacrifices. You can't come empty-handed, man. Right, right?
As it is commanded
As
thee.
it is commanded, man. You're commanded to give sacrifices to the Lord, right? You can't come empty-handed in this thing, man. Right? You have to put in your brick, man. Right? If you're not doing no work, man, you finished out here, man. Right, right?
The first fruits and the trespass offering and the gift of the shoulders and the sacrifice of sanctification and the first fruits of the holy things.
Right, that's going into the prior priesthood. We was under the Levitical priesthood, but now that we building a spiritual temple, right, these sacrifices go into praying, fasting, reading, studying, putting in the work, edifying the nation. Right, that's what these sacrifices represent today under the new priesthood. Right, that's it on that.
We got a precept. Luke chapter 19, verse 13. Bring that out, Karen.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 13.
Bring it out.
And it reads this. And he called his 10 servants.
Right, and that he is Yahweh Shai. Read on.
And delivered them 10 pounds.
Meaning the Lord gave us the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. Right, read on.
And said unto them, occupy till I come.
Do what?
Occupy till I come.
So you got to occupy till the Lord come. You should not be idle in his truth. There's always something to do, man. Right? There's always something to read. Right? Always a video to watch. Right? You should be asking yourself, what am I doing to benefit the nation and to benefit the ministry? Read on.
But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us.
Read on.
And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money.
Right, so the Lord gave us the money. He gave us the understanding, the wisdom, the knowledge. Right, if you in this room right now, you was blessed by the Lord to have the understanding of who you are and knowing what commandments you have to keep as a righteous vessel on this earth. Read on.
That he might know how much every man had gained by trading.
Right, and you got to gain by trading, man. You got to go out there in them highways and byways and wake as many Israelites as you can up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right? Read on.
And he said unto him, then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds.
Right.
And he said unto him, wilt thou, good servant, because thou hast been faithful in very little, have thou authority over 10 cities.
You see that, man? So we got to be faithful over a little, man. We got to be faithful in waking our people up. We got to be faithful in keeping the commandments, building up this nation, building up this spiritual house, right? So we can gain the kingdom of heaven, man. And the Lord give us authority over 10 cities. And that's what we all want, man. We want the heathens under subjection. We want our nation back in order. We want the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? That's pretty much it on that.
You can get Philippians 2 and 12.
It's the book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence.
Salakia, real quick. So we don't have Paul over our back, man. We don't have Yahushua constantly. Well, we know that he's watching all, but not in the flesh, right? He's not over your shoulder every second of the day, right? So when Jake understands that, they feel a little more, relaxed, lackadaisical, you slothish. It's like that at work sometimes. When your boss not watching, you drag your feet. You start dragging your feet, right? You're doing your own thing, right? But you have to keep in mind, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he's always watching you. Therefore, hey, you got to do work. You got to always be moving. You always got to have that pep in your step, And when you think you at work and nobody's watching you, somebody's watching you. That's why the scriptures say do nothing before an angel. Don't be, moving in an odd, weird way, because somebody's literally always watching you. Don't think nobody's ever not watching you.
That's right. I got a precept, Revelation 11:1. Link it up with this.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 1. And there was giving me a reed like unto a rod.
Right, that's basically like a measuring stick. Let's say it's a yardstick for, to make it simple. Right?
And the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High.
Right, the temple of the Most High. Now, is this a physical temple that he's measuring? Again, we're talking about a spiritual temple, because you are the temple of the Lord. Right, let me get this quick precept. Right, 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 16 says, Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you. So you're the actual temple of the Lord. So that measuring the temple is going into what work are you putting in, man? Measure the temple, right? Read.
And the altar and them that worship therein.
Right, read.
But the court which is without the temple leave out.
Right, leave out, man. You go get left in this thing, man. Right, Yahweh Shai go say, I never knew you, man, because you wasn't putting in work. You put hay on my damn golden palace, man. You was a filthy stone. He go cast you out, man. Right? You kind of building a house and you got cracked glass. You ain't gonna use that, man. Right, Reed?
And measure it not.
Right, and measure it not. You're not gonna be measured with the temple of God if you're not putting in this work, man. So brothers gotta build this temple up, man. It's not always having to be on the highways and byways. Every man not apt to teach. But you can hold posts out there. You can bring waters, man. You can come to the school, take notes, kind of teach your family so you can raise up a mighty son. He might be the next mighty man that go out there and teach. You never know, man. But if you just idle all day, man, you're not going to make it. So this is what this whole lesson is about, building the church. We all have to put in our brick. All right. That's it on that.
You can go to Philippians 2 and 17. It's like it's 16. Philippians 2 and 16.
The book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse 16. Holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Hamashiach.
Right.
That I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain.
Right. Paul told us a couple of times, your work is not in vain.
God.
Don't think you out there in 80-degree weather for nothing, and now you start thinking, I don't know, it's kind of hot today. Is this really worth it? I don't see nobody out. I might as well go back home. Right? Don't think like that. That's a weak mentality. Go ahead.
Yeah, and if I be offered upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I rejoice with you all.
That's why he said you got to make your body a living sacrifice. When it comes to building up an actual school, and on a spiritual level, building up Israel.
That's right.
You have to make your body a living sacrifice, whether you be fishing, and you better go chase down that brother. Right? Chase him down. Right? Hey, you building up the school, hey, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this thing. On the highways and byways, you're dealing with somebody that kind of bulking up. You got to still be forbearing sometimes. Lo and behold, the result is they hearken. So it takes a lot into building up things.
That's right. Got a precept. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 58. It's the line me back over your precept. It say, Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. So again, it's always something you could be doing for the ministry, right? Right? Whether it's teaching, doing videos, right? Whether it's passing out flyers, right? Whether it's holding posts, so on and so forth. It's always something you could be doing for the work of the ministry. It's always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So you're going to be rewarded for all these things that you have done for the Most High, right? So we seeking to be rewarded in these last days, right? Chiefly in the kingdom of heaven. You got it.
And don't think you off the clock because you're not at camp or in a building. Right? You still on the clock even at home. The Lord's watching you. The Lord didn't tell the angels, all right, take a 5. He at home, he chilling. Look, the Lord's still going to watch you in your crib, right? And he going to watch you to see if you studying, if you reading, perhaps watching videos, working on yourself, You can get Proverbs 27 and 19. Let me see if that's it.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 19. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man.
Right, so the Most High is also going to see if you self-reflecting and self-examining yourself. The same way you look at the water, you see yourself. And you still got to, on another level, on a spiritual level, you got to examine your heart. Right, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? That also counts as doing the work and building up, right? Building up Israel. Because you yourself is still a lively stone. You got to make sure. Yep, you got to make sure you don't got no filthiness on you, right? You have to make sure you being that lively stone, because it's easy for a stone to get dirty, It's easy for your shoes to get dirty. You got to kind of keep cleaning them. You got to keep cleaning them, washing them, You take care of your clothes. Why not take care of your spirit and your mind?
I kind of had a precept. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and verse 3. All right. Matthew 7 and verse 3. Just to land me back off what the brother brought out. Like, you got to be a lively stone yourself, man. Right? You can't be a hypocrite in this thing, man. Bring that up.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 3. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye?
Right, you're looking at a big old gigantic needle in your brother's eye, right?
But considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye.
Right, so how can you tell somebody, hey, brother, you got something on your face and you got something on your face, man? So you can't do that, right? So you can't be a damn adulterer out there telling people, hey, you can't commit adultery. You smoking weed behind the scenes, but you're like, hey, you kind of got to put the blunt down, brother. But you high as hell, man. And that's going off. Right, so you got to remove that beam out of your own eye, man. So you can be that lively stone as an example of the flock. Let's hit on that.
Precept. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 8. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. And white represents righteousness, man. Right, so you always got to be walking in the spirit of righteousness, right? Behind the scenes, right? In the midst of a crowd, you should be walking as the example, right? So you can't let your head lack no ointment, man. And the ointment represents the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, right? So you always got to be on point. You got to be sharp in this truth.
Can I go one after you?
All right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges, for in, it's like it is Romans 2 and 1. It says, therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same things. Right? So you can't, again, that's just another precept to land me back. You can't be judging somebody if you're doing the exact same thing you're judging them for. Right? That's just going the hell off, man. That's it on that.
You can get Acts chapter 15, verse 37. This is an example of who not to be, what not to do. All right.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 37. And Barnabas determined to take with them John, whose surname was Mark, but Paul thought not good to take him with them.
Right, he thought that for a reason. Paul wasn't winging it, just assuming, right, and judging off his appearance, right? He knew the man. He knew his works. He knew how he was operating in the spirit. Go ahead.
Who departed from them from Pamphylia,
go ahead.
Pamphylia, and went not with them to the work.
See, he didn't go with them to the work. You don't want to work with somebody that's not working. You know, brothers got jobs. And you know how it is working with that one brother that don't want to lift up his feet. It slow down the whole workplace. It gets you irritated. The whole vibe off. You know, it adds spirits. You got it.
Yeah, brothers be kind of looking at you work, man. Saying you missed something. Oh, you should have did it like this, man. Right. Nobody want to be around a brother like that. He always kind of sitting down.
It was me, I would have done it like that.
Yeah. That's off, man.
Hold up, you're doing it wrong. Brother, you're not doing nothing. How you going to tell me you're not doing nothing?
It's like, and that's the point I want to make. People, they be scoffing in the comment boards. Then people be like, hey, where your videos at? Where your t-shirt?
Yeah.
They be like, y'all brothers got to kind of do like this. But you ain't teaching, brother. What are you talking about? Like, if brothers know about the incident in Orlando with the brother Naquan, people was scoffing, saying, hey, you got to kind of use wisdom. You got, brother, you don't even teach, brother. You don't know how it is out there, man. Right. What are you talking about, man? That's going the hell off.
We see that a lot. People say, oh, I think you should teach like this. What are you talking about? You've never even heard about, Deuteronomy 28. Tell us we got to teach like this. What are you going to tell us? You got it.
That's it on that.
Yes. Oh, okay. What was I going to get? Oh, get Sirach 33 and 17.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself.
Salaki, so we're not working only on, we do it because, Philippians 2 and 12, we got to make our body a living sacrifice, but ultimately, we doing this for the Lord and for Israel. Right? Go ahead.
I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning.
Exactly. We have to make ourselves an example. Right? There's a lot of our brothers, they lost out here. They think it's okay to sag. It's okay to, do fruity things and move in a weirdo spirit. They don't know any better. So that's why even when we out there in the highways and byways, we have to be an example unto everyone, right? Unto our people, really. If we sagging out there, Jake going to think it's okay to sag. They're going to pull their pants down lower and say, okay, it's cool, So we have to make ourselves, it's like we have to be examples unto those who don't know.
I got a precept. Get Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 13. It's to land me back off. We're not doing this for ourselves, man.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 13.
Right.
I learned diligently.
What'd he say?
I learned diligently.
He learned diligently, man. Right, you got to kind of study, get in this thing, man. Get the precepts, link it up, watch the videos. Like, that's a good precept. Write it down, flat, whatever you got to do. Learn diligently, right?
And do communicate her liberally.
Right, that her is talking about wisdom. We're communicating wisdom liberally. We don't got the collection plate kind of going around right now, or we ain't stopping you at the door kind of like, hey, brother, where your money at? $5 to enter. Right, we're not doing that, man. So we're commuting. It's like we're communicating wisdom freely, right?
I do not hide her riches.
Right, you can't hide her riches, man. So we not, keeping this wisdom to ourselves, man, kind of in the corner with it. Right, we got to spread it openly, man. Whatever you learn, bring it to the table. We're not selling lessons, man. Right? Sit on that.
Yeah. I got a precept. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 19. It say, again, think ye that we excuse ourselves unto you? We speak before God and Hamashiach, but we do all things, dearly beloved, for your edifying. So everything we do is for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. Every video, every sit down, every lesson, right? Every counsel is to edify and build up the church, man. Right? And the church is the people. The church are the Israelites, right? On a spiritual level. Right?
You can get it's like in Colossians chapter 1, verse 10.
It's the book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 10. That ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of the Most High.
Right. So you got to walk worthy in this thing and increase in the knowledge of the Lord, not only for yourself, but all those that seek knowledge and understanding. You can bring out Ephesians 4 and 1.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 1. I, therefore, the prisoner of Yahweh, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called.
Right, your vocation is your calling, something that you was destined to do, right? The Lord predestined all of us to be here. The Lord predestined brothers to, know a whole lot of history. For this brother know a whole lot of languages. Different offices. For this brother know how to, do X, Y, and Z. Right? So everybody has a certain lot, right? But nonetheless, we all make up that spiritual building, right? But with that being said, hey, you got to make sure you're making your election sure, right? And that you're exercising whatever gift that the Lord gave you. And you walk worthy of your vocation, right?
There's more on that.
Yeah. Keep going.
With all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love.
See that long suffering and forbearing one another in love, right? I mean, you gotta be humble in this thing as well. Can't be that guy, you know. Oh, I know all the Lashwan Kadash. Quiz me, brother. You know, you just being a jerk. You know, brother, do lessons. You don't gotta be that guy and always just boasting your knowledge. You forgot who gave you that knowledge, the Lord. That's why you have to be humble about it. Because as easy as it was for him to give it to you, it's easy that he can take it away from you just like that. You got it.
Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
See that? So we got to be peaceable among all men, like it's in Romans 12:18. Right? Brothers shouldn't have an evil eye. Brothers shouldn't look a brother up and down all funny. You got to know how to hold in grudges. You got to be respectful and know how to speak to everybody in a well-mannered way. You know, and again, you don't know who you're talking to on earth. You know, this brother might be David. You know, he might be Nehemiah. He might be Ezra. You know, you're going to be held accountable by every word you say. The Lord can say, well, why did you speak to my chosen like that? You know? So you got to be careful how you speak to people. You got it.
There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all.
God. Brother, the precept.
Verse 10 on that.
Verse 10.
God.
He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens.
Talking about Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, right, when he was taken up into the heavens to sit on the right hand of the Father. Read on.
That he might fill all things.
Right, and Hamashiach Yahweh Shai fills all things. It tells you that in Colossians chapter 1 and verse 15. In him all things consist. Read on.
And he gave some apostles and some prophets.
So these are the different offices of men. Some brothers are set up to be prophets. Some brothers are apostles. Read on.
And some evangelists.
Read on.
And some pastors and teachers.
You see that? So it's different offices in this thing. Right? You can't just be one-sided. The Most High got different offices. So certain brothers are good at just recording. Certain brothers are good at fishing, you know, bringing fruit back into the Lord. Right? So it's different offices. Read on.
For the perfecting of the saints.
For the perfecting of the saints. Read on.
For the work of the ministry.
So this is all for the work of the ministry. Read on.
For the edifying of the body of Hamashiach.
Right, so we one body, man. Right, you got the head, you got the arms, you got the toes. It's different functions to a body. It's not just one thing. Right? So we all work together for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai. Right? And we work together as a team and as a unit, man. You got it, brother.
Give me the book of 1 Corinthians 12 and verse 4 to land me back what the brother was bringing out, man. Right, going into the different, gifts and offices. Right.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 4. Now, there are diversities of gifts.
Right, diversities of gifts, right?
But the same Spirit.
But the same Spirit, man. We all coming in the spirit of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, right?
And there are differences of the administrations, but the same Lord.
Right?
And there are diversities of operations, but it's the same God which worketh in all.
Right, you see that? So it's all for the ministry. It's all to help build the temple at the end of the day. That's what it's going into, man. Right, so it doesn't matter what your office is. You know, execute that office and do it with all your might, man. Right? You know, if you the scribe, kind of, if that's your office, you got to go crazy at being the scribe, man. Right? If you're mighty at prophesying, teaching, you got to go crazy teaching, man. Right? If you a recorder, hey, man, you got to kind of, do your thing with the recording. Get the angles, do whatever you got to do, cut up the video, whatever the case may be. Whatever your office is, you got to do it with all your might, man. Because it's all for the foundation of the Lord.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So right here, right now, when you living, whatever you doing, you got to do it with your might. Right? Jake go all out in his wickedness, man. He be in the studio 24 hours a day, kind of vibing to that beat.
That's right.
Smoking that blunt, getting in the zone. You got to get in the zone in his truth, man.
That's
right. Praying, fasting, studying, congregating among your brothers, doing sit-down lessons. You got to do it with your might and your strength, man, to the best of your ability.
Now, Michael Jordan, had a documentary. Now, what was that documentary? The Last Dance. If you seen that documentary, he not playing no games. The way he was moving, and he had his program, how you doing this, that, and the third. Look, that's how we got to be in this truth. You can get 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 1.
Yeah, they say Michael Jordan was kind of strict too, man. Yeah, he was kind of telling people what to do, right? Kind of, Now we ain't saying be like that, man, but you got to be zealous for the word of the Lord, man. Right? If brothers showing up to camp late, you got to get on them in righteousness. If brothers having side conversations, right, disturbing the lessons, you got to get on brothers, man. You got to keep everything decently and in order. We got to hold each other accountable, man. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 5. You got it, brother. You got it.
So, well, for the recording's sake, we got to talk in the mic. So what's the precept? We have them read it. 2 Timothy 2 and 5 for the king.
Bring that out.
Brother's bringing the precepts out, man. You see
right.
That?
It's the book of 2 Timothy. Chapter 3 and verse 5.
Mighty.
Chapter 2 and verse 5. Salaki. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things.
That's right.
That's right.
So you see that?
See that? You can bring out 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 1.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 6 and verse 1. And the sons of the prophets said unto Elijah, Behold, now the place where we dwell with thee is too strait for us. Let us go, we pray, unto Jordan, and take thence every man a beam, and let us make place there, so I can make us a place there where we may dwell.
Even the forefathers had a place to dwell in, and guess what they was doing in there? They wasn't playing rock, paper, scissors. They wasn't playing tag. And they was teaching. You got it. And they was learning the word, and they was teaching each other. That's the point. You got it.
And he answered, Go ye. And one said, Be content, I pray thee, and go with thy saints. And he answered, I will go.
That's it on that. See that?
Con.
But with that concludes the lesson of building up the church. All right? Give all claps and praises to Yahweh Shemel Rashai.
Come here, Shala, man.
From Israel. We're going to have the next lesson